Greeting my people, how are you? Good morning. Happy to be with you. So it is the morning, it's a good morning on Sabbath. Yes, it's a Sabbath school lessons on Daniel, on the book of Daniel. And I think you will be blessed by listening, by learning the great lesson from the book of Daniel. It's up to you and to me to give heed to the teachings of Daniel in these days. Rather than other days, you have to give care to the prophecy of Daniel's rather than other days. It's up to us to be blessed by studying the book of Daniel. It's a good news for you and for me to understand what will be transpired by knowing exactly what is in the history of nations and what will be in the future nowadays. I prefer to study the book of Daniel. It's a Sabbath school works now, but it will be published too late because of the lack of internet, and I think God will provide the means so that we can do on spot live. It's good news for now to study the book of Daniel. Previously, we have studied the book of Daniel in regard to. We have studied Daniel in regard to chapter 2, but introductory, a world challenging dreams. It was the previous topic. It was the past topic. Now we are going to see the world succession of the empires. The world succession of the empires. That's the great lesson of today. The world succession of the empires as expressed in the image dreamed by Nebuchadnezzar. The dreams has challenged Nebuchadnezzar himself and his wisdoms, his wise men, his magicians, his astrologers. He has challenged by the dreams. He lost the details of the dreams while he retained the impression of the dreams. The dream was the great image. The great image. Nebuchadnezzar himself to know the image was the first thing. Nebuchadnezzar to know the interpretation and the explanation of the dreams, it was another thing. So, brother, it's up to you to know the dreams and the interpretation, the dreams in which the monarch of the whole earth has gained, and also to know exactly the interpretation of the dreams. Yes, the kingdom of the world has expressed in the image that have dreamed by Nebuchadnezzar in his days. God of heaven loved Nebuchadnezzar the king, so he wished to give him a dreams. So by that dreams, for the people for the last days, it will require for them to study, because it was the dreams that express the establishment of the kingdoms and their removals. It was the dreams for the setting up of the thrones and the removals of the thrones. It's God who has power, who has arm to set up the kingdom and to remove the kingdom. I wish I can read some quotes from the Spirit of Prophecy. It's about manuscript release. It is Energy White quotes. Notes on Daniel. Notes on Daniel. On Daniel 2. The notes on Daniel 2, the comments of Ellen G. White on Daniel 2, it's about the succession of the empire. Succession of the empire governed by law of obedience. Let us read. Its manuscript release, just page 50, 49 to 49 to. Let us read. Hundreds of years before certain nations come upon the stage of action, the omniscient one looked down the ages and predicted through his servant the prophets the rise and fall of the universal empires. By Isaiah, by Jeremiah, by Ezekiel, they have prophesied before the rise, the fall of the empire. Yes, the stage of actions of certain empires, their stage of action and their removals was prophesied by whom? By the prophets. The prophet Daniel, when interpreting the king of Babylon, the dreams of the great image, an image, symbolic kingdoms of the world, a symbolic kingdoms of the world. Nebuchadnezzar have dreamed the image that is made by the head of God, the breasts and the arms of the silver, the belly and the thighs was the brass, the copper, and the legs was the iron, the feet was the iron, and the clay with the toes of milled clay, and also what? And iron. That's the word succession of empire expressed in metals. But brother, I wish you can understand. I wish you can understand more. The succession of the metals from gold to iron, there is a big deterioration between. Iron has a great value than the iron. Gold, let me say, sorry, gold has a great value than iron. So from the head there is a great deterioration of the power and majesty and value. Just there is a slight a great deterioration from the head to the toes, because the head was gold, but the toes was what? Was the clay and the iron. Imagine the clay and iron. So the head was gold, so the arms and the chest was the silver. Silver was of less value compared to what? Compared to the gold. And also the belly and the thigh was of copper, was of brass, which was also inferior to what? To the silver. Compare the brass and silver. Silver was of high value than what? Than the copper, than the brass. And The legs was the iron of also of less value, to what? Of less value to the gold, to the brass. And to the toes, to the feet and toes, there exists, the toes was 10, the subdivision of the kingdoms. And also the feet wall and toes was the mixture of what? Of milled clay and iron. So there is a significant deterioration between the kingdom from up to toes. So here, his greatness and power in God's word would have their days. Of course, the image, an image, a symbolic representation of the kingdom of the world, declared to Nebuchadnezzar in the dreams. So God would like to express to Nebuchadnezzar, to tell Nebuchadnezzar that his kingdom should be superseded. His greatness as the head of God, his greatness, power in God's words would have their days. His power, his greatness in God's words has its days. And the second kingdom would rise, which also would have its period and trial, as whether it would exalt one ruler, the only true God. For the kingdoms to set on the action, God permitted to be accomplished, for the kingdom to set into action, to have a stage of action, to prove the kingdom whether it will accept God or remove God or repair God, whether to prove them, to try them whether they should honor God or not. But the ends of the kingdom was in a bad situation, because they exert themselves above God and they persecute the God's people. I wish you can remember Belshazzar, but also I wish you can remember Haman and Mordecai and the king Ahasuerus. Remember also Artaxerxes, the tetrarch. But also I wish you can remember the end of the Medo-Persia Empire, Darius Kodomonas. So here, every kingdom has its stage of action to prove them whether it will accept to honor God. Here it embraces the wish to give every ruler of the earth, their greatness, their stage of action is based on God. Is God that permitted for the stage of action. But the rulers have to give God the credit. If they do not, their thrones will be removed at all. So here, the second kingdom was set on the stage, was arise to prove them whether they would exalt one another, the true God. Not doing this, its glory would fade away. That's about. And the third kingdom would occupy its place. That was succession of the empires. But proved by obedience or disobedience, these also would pass away. The third kingdom. And the fourth kingdom, strong as iron. Strong. The iron was strong. The iron is strong, rather inexpensive, of less value. It is less value but strong. Strong iron. Strong iron could subdue the nation of the world. These predictions, the infinite one, recorded on the prophetic page and traced on the page of history, were given to demonstrate that God is the ruling power of the affairs of the world. He changes the times and seasons, God. That's to Daniel. He removes the kings and set up the kings. Yes, for the kings, for the thrones, for the emperors to go into the stage of action is the affair that is controlled by God. God controlled the affairs of the nations. He directed the movement of the wars to establish the kings. But after the establishment of the kings, they gave, the kingdom gave the opportunity to whether they will accept God, whether they will honor God. But certain moments, it was clear that the kingdom does not accept God. At the end of their prosperity, it come up to the stage where they wish to supersede above God. In their speech, in their behavior, in their manner of actions. They express that it was at their powers they get prosperity. But it's God who has allowed that. But I wish you can remember this. The voice of God, the voice of God heard in past ages, in sounding down along the line, from centuries to centuries, through generations that have come upon the stage of actions and pass away. Shall God speak? Let me say this. Shall God speak in his voice not be respected? What power map, let's try to understand this. What power mapped out all the history of that nations after the other ones should rise at the predicted time and fill appointed place, unconsciously witnessing the truth of that which they themselves knew not the meaning. Is God that mapped out the kingdoms? My brother, where is the kingdom of Babylon of the past, which is expressed by the gold? My brother, where is the silver? Where is the kingdom of Medo-Persia, expressed by what? Expressed by the silver. Where is the kingdom of Greece, expressed by the brass? On what? On the belly of the great image. But also, where is great iron, strength of irons? Rome. They are all mapped out from the world history. Where is Nebuchadnezzar the Great on the kingdom of the earth? Where is Belshazzar, who have set it above God, who have spoken a pompous word against God, who have drinking by means of the cups of God from the temple of Jerusalem with his concubines? Where is them? Where is Artaxerxes? Where is Ahasuerus? Where is Darius Codomonus? Where is Alexander the Great? By his drunkard. Where is Julius Caesar? Where is Mike Pompey? Where is Augustine? Julius Augustine. Where is the world's empires and emperors? Where is them? They have been mapped out from the history of the nations. They have set the action for, they have set the stage for the actions, and they are now removed. So what the succession of the empires was, it was true. The prophecies of the image have been fulfilled. God has read the stage of actions of for the kings, for the emperors, and their removals have set the thrones and their removals. So now we are at the end of the actions of such kings. So Daniel now, let us come back into the Daniel's prophecies. Chapter 2, Daniel's. Yes, I wish we should start on chapter 19, no? Chapter 21. And he changed the times, the seasons. He removes the kings and set up the kings. He gives wisdom unto the wise, and knowledge to them that know understanding. That's God in heaven, that have the ability to set up the kings and to remove the kings. That is able to wipe out, to map out the kingdoms from the earth history, the emperors from the world history. He that revealed the deep and secret things, he knows what is in the darkness, and the light dwelleth with him. I thank and praise thee, O God, of my Father, who has given me a wisdom and might, and has made known unto me now what we desire of thee. For thou hast now made known unto us the king's matter. But what was the king's matter? It was the image. The image that Nebuchadnezzar has dreamed. Therefore Daniel went into Arioch, whom the king has ordained to destroy the wise men of Babylon. He went forth and said unto him, destroy not the wise men of Babylon. Bring me in before the king. I will shew unto the king the interpretation of the dreams. Then the Arioch brought in Daniel before the king in haste, and said thus unto him, I have found man of the captives of Judah, that will make known unto the king the interpretation of the dreams. But what about those dreams? The dreams that have challenged the wisdom of the Babylon, that have challenged the great magician of the Babylon, that have challenged the witchcrafts of the Babylon, the dreams that have challenged the magician of the Babylon, the dreams that have challenged the great kings of the earth, the scientists, the astrologers, the Chaldeans of the Babylon, the priests of the goddess. What about that dreams? But also the dreams that have been interpreted, explained by what? By a captive. A captive. A captive has interpreted the dreams that are not interpreted by what? By the magician, by the great wise men, great teachers of the Babylon. Remember, Daniel have come from their hands. Remember this. Daniel have come from their hands. They have taught him about 3 years in education. 3 years in education They have educated Daniel regarding the prophecy, regarding their languages, their signs, their dark languages. My brother, can you understand that today there are dark sentences? The history repeats itself. The history is circular rather than linear. In the past, the magicians, the astrologers, the wise men of Babylon, Chaldeans, they had dark sentences. They had the great languages of the Babylon that should be studied for the people to understand. And nowadays, the king of Phil's countenance, which is Pope Ri, and other great men of the earth, in whom they read, they have nowadays dark sentences. They are dark languages. I wish you can read any book, for example, if you can understand English. I wish you can read any book from the secret societies. Albert Pike Morals and Dogmas. Knights of Martyrs, Knights of Columbus, Knights, secret societies, Rotary Club. So now, the king answered and said to Daniel, whose name was Belteshazzar, are you able to make known unto me the dreams which I have seen, and the interpretation thereof? And Daniel answered in the presence of the king, and said, the secret which the king has demanded cannot wise men, astrologers, magicians, soothsayers, shew and the king. They are not able to interpret the dreams. They were not able to interpret their dreams. The great captives, the very captives, have saved their lives. But there is God in heaven that reveals secrets and make known unto King Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in the latter days. What shall be in the latter days? It was the things that will transpire in later days. So what is the function for that, to Nebuchadnezzar? It's for me and for you, because we are living in later days, to understand what have been revealed to Nebuchadnezzar, what have been interpreted by Daniel. It's our great deal, my brother. It's our burden to understand them, because God has promised the last day wisdoms to understand the prophecy of Daniel's and Revelation. You have to understand it. You have no responsibility to sit and be quiet. You have to check carefully to understand the prophecies of Daniel carefully and thoroughly. Yes, it's God of heaven that revealeth the secrets and make known unto King Nebuchadnezzar what shall be in latter days. Thy dreams and the visions of thy heads upon thy bed are these. As thee, O king, thy thoughts come into thy mind upon thy bed, what should come to pass thereafter, and he that reveals secret make it known thee what shall come to pass. But as for me, this secret is not revealed to me for any wisdom that have more than any living, but for thy sakes that shall make known the interpretation of the kings, and that you might taste know the thought of thy heart. Thou king, you have seen and behold the great image. The great image was the challenging dreams. Daniel has told him the dreams, and the king in his mind, he remembered the mind, the dreams refreshed back in his mind. There is time when the dreamers or the prophets dream the dreams, and the dreams escaped their mind. But by the time when the dreams come in the set of actions, God permits for the dreamer, for the prophets to understand, to remember such kind of dreams he have dreamed. So here, because the dreams is not for Nebuchadnezzar himself, is for the world's empire, is for the prophecies, is from God. So God make Nebuchadnezzar to remember such dreams. A hidden prophet. Remember that. A king, an emperor, a hidden emperor who became now a prophet. But there is a great prophet rather than the king, who is Daniel, the captive, the very captive from Israel. Israel go into captivity by the king Nebuchadnezzar, but God revealed himself to Nebuchadnezzar. So there is God in heaven. O king, you have seen and behold great image. This great image whose brightness was excellent. Whose brightness was excellent. The brightness of the image was excellent. Stood before thee, and from the form thereof was terrible. These image heads was a fine gold, a pure gold, not the gold with dross. It was a fine gold. It was a pure gold. The kingdoms of the head was a pure gold, was excellent, was very high, was a very kingdom. There is no other kingdom in comparison with them. But it was a kingdom established by Satan himself. My brother, you understand this? Satan was Lucifer in heaven, and was fallen from heaven to enter into the earth. He came to earth because he know what was in the heaven, because he know the thing that exists in the heaven, the construction that exists in heaven, the city of God in heaven. He come here in the earth to imitate the great symbols of heaven. He come to establish the earthly kingdom, to imitate what exists in heaven. I will exalt my throne above the heaven. That is the saying of the prophets. I will establish my kingdom to supersede above the heaven. I will make a constructions. I will set a kingdoms. But God, who has the control of that kingdom, I wish, brother, you can understand this. I wish for the people who are led by prejudices, they can remove their crops of prejudices and gain understanding to the prophecies and gain knowledge from high. So the kingdoms, the images heads was fine gold, established by Satan himself. His breast and his arm of silver, of less value to the gold. And belly and his breast and his belly and his belly and his belly and his thigh was brass. His leg of iron, his feet, part of iron and part of clay, milled clay. So you understand such kind of deterioration. Fine gold, the gold without dross, the fine gold without impurities, the kingdom that have been lightened like fine gold without dross, a fine gold. The second kingdom was of silver, silver of less value to the gold. The third kingdom, the third part of the image was brass, which is also of less value compared to what? To silver. And again, legs of iron, legs of iron. Iron, yes, of strong, but of less value. You can take the gold to make the knife, but you can take iron to make a knife. You can take gold and to make what? To make the axe, the axe. But you can take the iron to make axe. You understand, my brother? There is a great deterioration. As the deterioration come down from the head of gold to the toes of milled clay and iron, so was the deterioration in the kingdom. I wish I could read another quote from the Spirit of Prophecy. Just it is on manuscript release, the note on Daniel, manuscript release, chapter 20. I think it is volume 1 manuscript release. It's page 15 till 20 till what till it is chapter 50. I can read. The image revealed to Nebuchadnezzar while representing the deterioration. Oh, it's good news. It's a good typology. The image revealed to Nebuchadnezzar while representing the deterioration of the kingdom, the earth in the power and glory, also fitly represent the deterioration of religion and immorality among the people of these kingdoms. The deterioration of the kingdoms also represent the deterioration of the religion and immorality. Nowadays, religion is very weak because it is a milled clay mingled with iron. The morality of the people today, they are weak morally compared to the people of Nebuchadnezzar and his kingdom. The Israel of the past and the Christianity of today, they are weak in religion and in morality. The weakest morality. For the past ages, we can't see someone bare naked, almost naked. But nowadays, the people wear naked. People are arrayed in the short garments. They are weak morally. They are weak sexually. They are weak mind. They are weak morally. That's why God is going to come down and to burn them, because there is no value in them. Their eating, their dressings, their behavior on sexual behavior, they are very weak. They are very weak, so that they are going to cut down. They are going to be burned down. They are going to be extinguished from the earth. They are going to be exterminated from the earth. I wish, my brother, you can be saved from the wrath that is going to come down from heaven. I wish you can be blessed by the blood of Jesus himself. So let us read the quotes from the deterioration of religion and immorality among the people of these kingdoms. As nations forgot God, in like proportion they became weak morally. Babylon passed away because in her prosperity she forgot God. That's why Babylon has mapped out from the kingdom. Babylon has been removed from the kingdom. That's why the kings of Babylon has removed from the kingdom, from the remembrance of the history. And God established another kingdom. So Babylon passed away because in her prosperity she forgot God. The great Babylon, which was expressed by the gold, fine gold on the image, has passed away because in her prosperity and ascribed to the glory of her prosperity to human achievement. So they have said that their prosperity, it is human achievements. That's why in Daniel 5 we will learn it, we will study it. Daniel 5, it deals with the end of Babylon, to Belshazzar the king, who have drunk with the cup of God that come from Israel, Jerusalem. He have drunk with the cups of gods from the temple of God, with his concubine, to express his pampas, to express his familiarity. I can say that, is it familiarity? I can't have a word to speak. To express his wish to deny God, to express his wish to trample upon God of heaven, to express his understanding that he is above God. So with his concubines, with his readers, he drink with the cups of God. But he adds another thing. After drinking to the cups of God in the temple that come from Jerusalem, he praised God of stones, he praised God of gold, he has praised God of silver, praised God of woods. His kingdom was removed by means of the general of Medo-Persia Empire. He was dethroned from the kingdom. He was dethroned from the kingdom. By means of General Cyrus have dethroned Belshazzar. His great kingdom has been mapped out. The kingdom of God, the kingdom of high walls, the kingdom of great city, the kingdom of goddess, the kingdom of Chaldeans, the kingdom of what? Of soothsayers, astrologers, the kingdom, the pride of the earth have dethroned from the kingdom. God only who established and dethroned the kingdom, who remove and establish the emperors. Right. The kingdom, let us read, the Medo-Persia of Darius and Cyrus. In Kinyarwanda they express Kuro. Cyrus. In another language, his name is Chazare. Kuro Cyrus Chazare has dethroned Babylon. And Babylon became desolated, ruins, and it became the habitation of fowls, the habitation of animals, furious animals. Medo-Persia kingdom was visited by the wrath of heaven, because in this kingdom God's law was trampled underfoot. Medo-Persia kingdom has got into prosperity. Try to read the chapter, the fourth chapter of Esther, where the kingdom, the Medo-Persia kingdom, the Shushan city became a proud city. They have established the rules that trample other rules. The rules that is not deniable. So the Medo-Persia kingdom was also visited by the wrath of God. The second kingdom of the earth history has also mapped out. Yes, because they tramped up under the foot the fear of the Lord found in the place, and the fear of the Lord found the place in the heart of the people. In Esther, we read something there to the behavior of what? To the behavior of the Medo-Persia kingdom. Esther, let me get there. Esther. Just Esther chapter 4. When Mordecai perceived that, chapter 3, rather. After these things, let us, you understand this, listen this carefully. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him to set his throne above. But chapter 1, it reveals the expression of what? How the kingdom of Medo-Persia was. And now it come to pass the day of Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus, he reigned from India. His kingdom was expanded from India unto Ethiopia, one end to another end. It was in India to Ethiopia. So you know where the kingdom was. The India to Ethiopia was his kingdom. It was about over 127 provinces. And that in those days, when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne on his kingdom, which was in Shushan place. But what about Shushan place? The Shushan place became the city of the world. They became like Babylon also, became the pride of the nations. So, in the third year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the noble and the princes of the province bowing before him. When he shewed the riches of his glory into the kingdoms and the honor of his excellent majesty, many days when he when even 180 days, and then these days were expired, the king made a feast and all the people that were in the Shushan place, both great and small, 7 days in the courts, and the garden king's palace, and gave them drinks of gold, verse 7, of vessels being diverse from one another, and royal wine in abundance according to the state of the king. Then also Vashti the queen made a feast for the women for the royal house, which belonged to King of Ahasuerus. On 7th day, when Hatz the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Bezta, Habona, and others who served the presence of Ahasuerus the king, to bring Vashti the queen before the king with crown royal, to show the people and the princes. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlain. Therefore the king was wroth, and his anger burned him. So these verses, chapter 1, express how became what? How became the kingdom of Medo-Persia. By the time of Ahasuerus, the kingdom of Medo-Persia was greatly blessed, was greatly established, was power in his wisdom. The expression of silver was expressed. So now, but I would say something. And the milkman answered before the king and the prince, Vashti the queen has not done the wrong the kings only, but to all princes, the kings, the peoples that are in the province of the king Ahasuerus. For his deed of the queen shall come abroad into the women. So the spies husband their eyes, and the king Ahasuerus command Vashti queen to be brought before him, and she come not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia. Yes, the words I was searching is that's not altered. The kingdom of what? The kingdom of Medo-Persia was the kingdom that was great. It became great. It was established. By reading also to Daniel chapter 11, we see how God has rise up to establish the kingdom of Medo-Persia. Let me read there. The kingdom of Medo-Persia come into the set of action to try them whether they will honor God, they will accept God. But at the end, by the beginning, they have honored God. By the end, it became the proud kingdom, proud of their conquests, proud of their riches, proud of their vast kingdom, proud of their prosperity. They have said that their prosperity is in according to the power of men, not power of God. So let us read there. Where is the source of prosperity of the kingdom? The prosperity of the kingdom, it comes from God. Also, it says, I'm reading on Daniel chapter 11, verse 1. Also I, in the first year of Darius, the Medo-Persia, even I stood to confirm and to strengthen him. God of heaven has raised up. Michael of heaven has raised up to make Babylon great. To make Medo-Persia great, to establish the kingdom and to strengthen the kingdom. But at the end, the power the power of their kings, because they reached above prosperity, because they have reached, they are proud of their conquests, their riches, their golds, their silver, their everything, their armies. They have set the roles that is not altered. A proud nations, carnal roles, unalterable roles, according to the unalterable roles. God of heaven has nothing to say about their roles. They can't change their roles. They can't change their roles because it is pride roles. They can change their roles. The roles can punish everyone, even God in heaven. That is their sayings. And they come to the stage to do not worship God, but worship Mitraism. Mitra. The capes of Mitra was upon their heads. Their kings bear the heads of Mitra. Mitraism was the pattern of their wearing. To worship Mitraism, then they set up the rose, which was not alterable by any means, by any rose. They trample. That's how they trample upon the rose of heaven. So the Medo-Persia kingdom was visited by the wrath of heaven, because in this kingdom, God's law was trampled underfoot. The fear of the Lord found no place in their hearts of the people. The prevailing influences in Medo-Persia were wickedness, blasphemies, and corruption. Wickedness, blasphemies, and corruptions. First, the god of image has been destroyed at the ears of Belshazzar, Chazar, Cyrus, Kuro has dethroned Babylon. And now there is another one who is going to dethrone. We will go into deep. There is another one, great emperor, great general, the son of the Philip of Macedon. The Macedonian province is going to come into the stage. So they shift into the Europe, Greece. One comes from Greece, Alexander the Great, who was going to dethrone completely the Medo-Persian kingdom. So he dethroned who? He dethroned the Darius Kodomonas, the last king of Medo-Persia. So Greece come into the stage of action. Yes, the kingdoms that followed were even more base and corrupt. Was more base and corrupt. The people of Europe, the kingdoms of Europe, was more base and corrupt. The succeeding kingdom from Medo-Persia was Alexander the Great of Macedon, of Greece. But Alexander the Great and his great kingdom Greece was base and corrupt. Brass, copper, brass, copper, base and corrupt. Oh, it's a bad news. Base and corrupt. They deteriorated because they cast off all allegiance to God. And as they got him, they sank lower and still lower on the scale of moral laws. What is the situation of Europe today? What is the situation of the people in Europe today? What is the stage of their adultery, fornications, prostitutions, their wearings, their speeches, their manners of eatings? They are base, totally base. Though their rules, though their armies are strong, but they are base. They are iron, but of less value. Yes, the third kingdom come into the stage of action, which was expressed by brass, by what? By copper on the image. The thigh and the belly was copper. The means of the means of the action of what? Of the Greece was the copper. Their armies, they used the weapons of copper. Their weapons, their armies was copper. The shielding garment of the soldiers was the copper. Their gates was the copper. Brass. They are the kingdoms of brass. They are kingdoms of brass. But base and corrupt. At the end, his kings, Alexander the Great, even though took the whole world at short time, I think at 8 years. At 8 years, he has taken a whole kingdom, a whole earth. Then, he was dead young. He was dead young. Because he have given 2 drinks to alcoholic, drunkards. Baseness and corruption. Baseness and corrupt. Drunkards of Alexander the Great make him to come to the stage of dying. My brother, I wish I can stop here, and I wish I will continue to roam the 4th kingdom of iron, the 4th kingdom of iron. So brother, allow me to stop here. We will continue, we will pursue on another Sabbath. I wish you can understand great prophecies of Daniel. Thank you. Thank you for listening us. Thank you for tuning in to Eah-PT Ministries. Yes, we will come on another days. Be of good cheer. Amen.